Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Am I supposed to take out my dough from the fridge that I
Yes,
made?
yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Hey,
Stephanie.
Stacy.
Hello. Thank you for letting me join.
Oh, all are welcome to learn how to make Hamentaschen.
Stacy, did you take out your dough?
Yes, I ended up using at the last minute a different recipe, a secret recipe from my own temple, because normally my temple does a fundraiser and I buy several dozen every year, but they didn't do it this year. And I know I like their dough and I know it freezes well because I'm still eating last year's. They freeze beautifully. So
the competition from the other shul.
Well, that, in fact, when Stephanie said 200 Hamentaschen, I'm like, what am I going to do with 200? I don't even have space or to make them, let alone.
I'm giving mine away. I'm still going to deliver them in little baggies to people's houses.
Mine, I think, is 50. I don't know how, but I'll give some away.
My recipe makes 35, and I looked at it and went, that's too many. Dude, 200
So
is exponentially too many. I live alone.
Yeah. I don't even have enough.
You can always cut the recipe, whatever.
No.
And as you said, it freezes really well, right, Stephanie?
I've never, in our house, we've never needed to freeze Hamentaschen.
Yeah, there's that.
That was said nice.
I
have frozen this dough and it's been fine. So
No, I mean, I have to use a different recipe because I didn't look at it very closely, and I don't actually have any orange juice.
yeah, we had to go out last night and get orange juice. So
I don't drink orange juice.
I bought a little container.
Well, I'm diabetic, so I can't just sit and drink a glass of orange juice.
Right.
So
right.
I was at Wegmans yesterday morning. I only go out once a week, very early. And I'm like, all they had was the big ones. So then I was like, well, I'll go through the McDonald's drive-thru. Maybe they have a single serve, but theirs weren't, they weren't like prepackaged, in a carton or with a screw cap. It was like
Dunkin's has them.
And I forgot about that. And then I was like, wait, I'm like, what's next to me? I'm like, Chick-fil-A. And I would never, ever buy anything from them. And I went through their drive-thru. I'm like, do you have orange juice in like with screw caps? And they're like, yeah. And it probably cost me the same as the big jug at Wegmans.
Oh, for sure.
But
plus
whatever.
That little bit of shame.
I've never been to a Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
I mean, I won't go to a Chick-fil-A.
I wouldn't normally. I don't.
Exactly. No,
I don't like their politics. So
exactly. But I was like,
I like my chicken less homophobic in my chicken.
I was desperate. I have heard.
No, I get that.
I have heard
that's a great description, though. That was funny. Homophobic chicken.
I mean, they are. They're really bad.
I want to know who's connecting. Who's the meat market?
They're in the same parking lot as Hobby Lobby. They go together.
Oh God.
Okay, no, they're pretty bad too.
Okay, Stacy, where do you live?
Across the street from Shoppers World.
Okay, I know where that is.
I live on Route 9 in Framingham.
That's a good place to be. All right, we're just waiting for it's just 10 o'clock, so we're gonna wait a little bit.
So I'm gonna tell everyone to preheat their oven.
To what?
To preheat their oven to 350. So it can get up to temperature while we are preparing the dough.
Okay, anything else?
Sure, I'll go through a few little,
all right,
little tidbits.
All right, there's still more people coming, so.
This is a wet measuring cup versus the dry measuring cup.
Who knew there was a difference?
There's a difference.
I did actually.
Yeah, so how big a difference is there?
Well, you can't fill this totally up with a cup of water and not spill it when getting to the
whatever.
Whatever. This you can't level off a cup of flour like you can.
Yeah.
So there are differences.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is it like a minuscule difference?
Well,
if you didn't have one, would it be the end of the world?
It would not be the end of the world, but it's not as precise. And baking is all about preciseness. It's not like cooking chicken where a little bit can go a little bit longer.
Maybe this is why my baking is.
Yeah, no, it does depend on what you're baking, though. Some things need more precision than others.
Okay, we're letting in a few more people. Here come more people.
This
and
one I
everyone
think you'll be
have
fine.
their mise en place.
Welcome, everybody.
So I have everything pre-measured. I have the sugar, the flour, everything's in a separate little cup. So I can dump and go.
Okay. So we're just
So,
gonna wait like one more minute because I think there's a few more people.
yep, and as people come, just make sure you preheat your oven and take out the dough from the fridge if you have already made the dough. Another little tip I have is in my cookbooks, I write in my cookbooks.
Ah.
My Temple Emmanuel cookbook, and over this I wrote delicious. So I know which recipes not to ever make again. And I also write down like which family member likes it.
Ah, that's sneaky.
And I also write do not make again if I ever, for those recipes that I do not ever want to make again. So in my cookbook collection, I have lots of writing on my cookbooks, and my favorite recipes probably have like a little tomato sauce on them or a little liquid dumped on. So my
It's sort of
cookbook,
like your Haggadah and your Siddur if you make Kiddush on Friday night, because unless it's got drops of something,
right?
then
If
it
they're well
hasn't
loved.
been it hasn't been well loved, right? Annette, you have to later on you have to explain your sign, the kosher butcher sign, okay? Because it's really cool. You're muted.
You're muted, Annette.
Okay, we'll let you explain. Go ahead,
It
and then
was, it was in my father's store. He was a kosher butcher in
Where?
Dorchester.
in Dorchester.
On Morton Street.
Wow, that is cool.
Yep,
All right,
it is.
it's 10:04, so I'm gonna welcome everybody, and I'm gonna tell you that you probably want to put on your screen so we can see you, and you can see, most importantly, you can see Stephanie, I'm sorry. And my name's Terry Swartz Russell. We'll go through the whole thing. I'm the Director of Adult and Family Education, and we're here to make Hamentaschen with Stephanie Weitzman. So when we go beyond Stephanie's instructions, I think you should, in terms of this view screen, I think you should put her in the speaker view so that you can see everything that she's doing. But a little bit about Stephanie, in case you don't know her, she's been a member of Temple Emmanuel since 1998. She works at Ballantine Partners. She's currently the VP of the Boston Hadassah chapter of Hadassah. She's on our board of trustees at Temple Emmanuel. And she has a husband named Adam and two children, Mark and Naomi, who are always happy to taste test nearly any recipe. And baking is her passion, and we're so thrilled that she helped us make donuts for Hanukkah, and now we're on to Purim, and hopefully she can still do this, but maybe next time in person. And we welcome Stephanie to take it away.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So in case you haven't heard, you want to preheat your oven to 350. So it gets to the right temperature as we're making the dough. I have an oven thermometer just to make sure that my oven is exactly where I want it. And then I also took out my cookie tins, and I've another table set up with how we're going to shape it. So first we're going to make the dough, and then we're going to shape it or roll it.
Stephanie, one thing, somebody would like you to hold up the Temple Emmanuel cookbook, the front of it, I guess. It was made in
A couple of years ago.
It was made in 2011, and Stephanie co-chaired the.
Is it
It's
still
beautiful
available?
cover. See the cover? Really nice.
It is not still available, but I'm sure the Temple Emmanuel Sisterhood, I don't know if they have any left. I don't think so. I think we've gone through 3 printings and then we called it a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it is in the Temple Library.
There are several in the synagogue library.
which
I
you
guess
can
I should
out.
take out the. Probably walk around to you.
So I'm going to use a mixer, which is right here, and I'm going to show you everything that I do. So I've pre-measured 3 eggs into 1 container, 1 cup of sugar in another container, 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil in a different container. In that vegetable oil, I also put 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. P.S. Use real vanilla extract, not the imitation. A 1/2 cup of orange juice, 5.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Again, I always pre-measure everything before I start. So A, I know I have everything, and B, it's all measured out. So the first thing that you're gonna do is beat the egg.
Stephanie, can you ask everybody to mute because when they keep talking or moving, it switches to speaker view.
Sure, can everyone please mute?
We'll all mute.
Oh, Terry can mute all of us. So here are my eggs. I'm gonna put 3 eggs and a cup of sugar in my mixing bowl. And then I'm gonna turn on the mixer and I'll show you what it'll look like. While you're doing that, I'm gonna combine in here my oil and vanilla. And my orange juice. I've also used a measuring cup with a pouring spout, which is much easier to do than trying to do it in a bowl. I'm going to show you what my eggs and sugar look like. Once I get my hard to do this when it's not exactly full. Well, it's pale yellow. It's not bright yellow. It's all mixed in. You can see a little granulation of the sugar, but it's all one thing. Then you're gonna, so in with the flour, put your baking powder. So the next thing I'm gonna do in the mixer goes all my liquid. I'm going to turn the mixer on, so it's going to be a little loud. I'm going to say slowly add the flour. You do not want to add this all at once or you'll look like a cartoon character.
Are you using a paddle on that?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are you using a paddle on your mixer?
Using the paddle.
And it works okay if you don't have, I used, you know, a hand mixer to do the butter and the sugar, but then I had to do everything else with, you know, a spatula and by hand. Is that okay too?
Yeah, whatever works. I love my mixer. And you're gonna let it, you'll see that there's a lot of flour. You need to let it incorporate into one dough. And you'll, if you're using machine, it will sound loud. You can do this in a food processor too. So I'm also going to lower, take my mixer and take all the dough off the paddle and make sure the bottom is scraped so there's no flour pile at the bottom. And then I'm going to show you what the dough should look like.
I got a question, Stephanie.
Sure.
If we, this makes a lot of cookies, correct? How
It
many?
makes a lot of cookies. You could deliver them to your mom.
Yeah, she'll love me for that. Does the dough, how long does the dough keep and can it be frozen to be reused later or no?
So I will confess, I have never done that. Back when I used to go to the office, I used to take them to the office and everyone in my office knows that the end of winter means Hamentaschen.
Yeah.
I will deliver these to my neighbors, Jewish or not Jewish. The guy that next door helps me shovel and I give them Hamentaschen every year.
Jeff,
I'm not afraid to make 200 and give them away.
Jeff, this is Terry, and yes, I have frozen it, and yes, it freezes nicely.
Okay.
So this is what the dough should look like. It's a pale yellowy, looks like sugar cookie dough. Yep, Terry. And then of course, I'm gonna stick this in the fridge because I've already made dough. Now you could use, I mean, this is easy to manipulate, but it's hard to get the sides to stay if you haven't frozen it. So I got to freeze it, refrigerate it. So I'm just gonna stick my dough in the refrigerator.
It's like Julia Child. You take out the other one.
Right, and I'm gonna go wash my hands because unlike Julia, my hands are all sticky and I don't want to touch my computer.
Julia did not have a computer or one that she knew how to use.
And then I'm gonna call my daughter in, Naomi. So now we're going to the shaping station, which I have set up. So I have a rolling pin. And I have a mat that I'm gonna stick flour on. Now this, I will tell you, even if you don't have kids, but if you have kids, this is gonna get messy. You will want to clean your kitchen floor after this. If it's not messy, you're not doing it right. So I'm gonna put some flour on my mat. I'm not quite sure if you guys can see this.
You can see it.
Okay. And then I'm gonna take a hunk of dough. And before you stick your fingers in, what I've already done is I've prepared cookie sheets with Pam on them so that I can start rolling and shaping. And you don't want them super flat because you do want them to have some thickness so it stays with the topping or the filling. But I'm not really good at telling you how thick, but it shouldn't be super thick and it shouldn't be super thin. You should not be able to see through your dough. And I'm gonna open. I have a 3-inch biscuit cutter. You could use a circle cookie cutter. You could also use a glass. So if you, a drinking glass, turn it upside down and it's a cookie cutter. Yeah, Terry, what, does that have a spout? No spout.
No, it's actually a coffee cup. It's a mug.
Excellent.
And I have
So now
a
I'm gonna
knife.
cut as many circles in the dough as possible. So I have a bunch of circles. I'm just going to put them to the side. I happen to like rolling my dough into as many circles as possible and then filling them. Naomi's going to steal one. So this is my second go around with the same dough. And Naomi's already filling hers, but you can be as traditional or contemporary with your fillings as you want.
Yeah, we should hear what people should unmute at some point and we should hear what you're putting inside. But right now we're just going to watch Stephanie.
Okay, I'm going to put, so with the jams, you want to be a little stingy. With the poppy seed, if you have the poppy seed traditional, you can be a little bit more generous. the more liquid it is, the easier it will pop out and spill all over the place while baking. So the next thing you want to do, this is where the instruction is really important. You want to, for the circle, you want to take half the dough and pinch it up at the top, and then at the bottom, you want to bring it back up. And I will do several of these. So this is obviously the end result.
How do you do it so that it doesn't open up? That's always my issue.
So I pinched it really hard, and then there's a little, you know, one side is always a little bit taller. I kind of just squish that against the smaller side.
Okay. So here's my.
You don't want to make the dough too floury. The flour causes it not to stick.
Ah, good to know.
So right now we have some raspberry going. I'm going to open the apricot. The apricot pastry filling is thicker than jam.
So using jam though is okay, apricot jam?
Jam is fine, you just don't want to overfill it. I'm talking about a teaspoon.
Right.
So I'm gonna, not gonna be able to see me, but you're gonna see my fingers squishing the top so that there's a point on the top. The circle has now formed into the top of the triangle. And then I bring up the dough from the bottom, form another triangle, and I make sure that the edges are sealed.
Can I just ask you, this is Gloria. Can
I
I
made
just,
it at your house.
hi, could you show me again?
Yeah.
What size, I had to step away for a second. No, that's fine. Dima and I are here together. Can you show me what kind of cup you're using, what size?
I am using a 3-inch biscuit cutter.
Okay, so like, oh, thank you.
A mug.
Okay, all right, got it. All right, thank you.
Because we make a lot, I make a lot of different ones, and then they're not huge, so that they're not as big as bakery ones.
Okay, and you haven't closed them yet, have you?
Yeah, so here I am
Show me
shaping.
one more time.
Oh, I'm
Dima.
going to be showing, I can be
Okay.
here. So here's the top that I just
Uh-huh.
made, and now I'm going to take the bottom and bring it and knead it, and now I seal the edges.
Thank you.
I really do want those edges sealed, because if you don't, when my kids were younger, you could always tell which ones they made because they would explode in the oven. But then they were like, oh, well, we can't give those away.
Yeah, but they still taste great anyway.
Right, they
Right?
taste great, but the kids knew that those were theirs to keep.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Please unmute yourself.
I have
Yep.
a recipe question. So my recipe called for creaming the sugar and butter together, but it said the butter needed to be cold,
Yep.
which is not easy to do.
Nope, because the butter, by having the butter cold, you can get the fat into the sugar and it mixes differently.
So I remember I took a cooking class at Sur La Table many years ago, and we did like a pie shell for some tart. And that's what they had us do. So like, as I'm rolling mine out, I can see little pieces of butter still.
Yep, that's
So
okay.
that's okay. It's just the way it's gonna like melt in the oven and,
Yes.
okay.
My recipe uses oil, so it's parve.
And
And
so
not,
I think my recipe, I could have used margarine and it said milk or orange juice, but I used butter, and then I used the orange juice because your recipe said orange juice. So I figured my Temple Pride did it with orange juice and margarine.
so this
Did
is,
you ever use Earth Balance?
so
No.
I tend not to, I either use butter or I use Earth's Balance, but This recipe uses oil and it's for me, I find the dough easy to handle with this recipe.
Did you say something about the flour just be?
About 5.5 cups of flour.
I think we were
Hamentaschen.
talking about measuring.
Measuring, yep. I use a dry measuring cup, and I don't measure my flour in one of those Pyrex liquid things. I measure flour using one of these.
Right, and you don't sift it or anything like that?
I do not. I will tell you, in my normal life, I have a scale and I weigh everything in grams when I do baking.
Are you in that Holla for Color group on Facebook?
I just joined.
There was a big argument about grams and sifting a couple weeks ago because someone bought some well-known cookbook and it didn't give it in grams and people were annoyed that they bought the cookbook. I don't measure and my colors come out perfectly fine. And Sarah Hollander told me use bread flour and that made all the difference.
Yeah, bread flour has a different protein level than regular flour.
So we use a mixture of I think it's 2/3 regular flour and 1/3 bread flour, and it's come out great.
Right. I took I'm gonna stick my head. I took a cake class from King Arthur Flour, and it changed my baking life. So
Can I see the size of your filling again?
Yeah.
Here's my little Hamentaschen.
So these are soup spoons. So this looks like a lot. I'm gonna put my monitor down so you can see. I got the top part pinched together, and then I bring up the bottom, and then I make sure the edges are sealed. You don't want to crowd them on the baking sheet either. You want to give them room. They're not going to super spread, but if one leaks open, the rest of them won't be contaminated. And I'll show you my baking sheet. And if you have kids, like my kids used to have a small rolling pin, and we'd use a cutting board so they could roll it themselves.
I don't own a rolling pin. I've got a can of soda wrapped in tin foil.
That works too.
Did you grease the sheet, the cookie
Yeah.
sheet?
I put Pam on so I put tin foil on my cookie sheet, and then I put Pam on top of that. And this
Okay,
way,
thank
I
you.
always use tin foil, that way that if I burn something, it's not actually on the pan that I'm burning. It's way easy. I don't do the cleanup in my house, but it's way easier for the cleanup staff for cleaning up when I use tin foil.
The cleanup staff?
I like that cleanup staff idea.
That's called my husband.
Does tinfoil work better for these than parchment paper?
So Jeff, I grew up using tin foil with my mom, so I always use tin foil.
I'm using parchment paper.
All right, I'll try.
Well, I'm using the non-stick, whatever those,
That's what I do whenever
You could probably use a Silpat.
I use.
the Silpat, yeah.
I'm using throwaway cookie sheets.
How long do they go into the oven for?
Say that again?
How long do we bake for?
Oh, let me just check the recipe.
You're ready?
It's 12 to 15 minutes, and so the year I redid my oven, my kitchen, I had to go to a friend's house and do this. And I made the dough at home and we used her oven, and she didn't have a thermometer in her oven. there's no question her oven was broken because it ran hot and we burned our first batch of Hamentaschen. So I am of the school that you put it in and you check a little bit beforehand, and then you can always add time, but you can never take away time. So
Right.
we're almost done with tray number 1. So I'm gonna put these in our oven. I don't use an egg wash or anything on top of this. I just put them in as is. So while we're still rolling out, I'm gonna put these in our oven and I'm gonna start off at 12 minutes and I'll show you after 12 minutes what they look like.
So what are people putting inside their Hamentaschen? We're an apricot family and chocolate, not together.
How do you do, what do you use for chocolate?
So I use chocolate chips. I happen to have some Parv chocolate chips. I usually make my Hamentaschen Parv. That way, whoever I give them to can eat them,
I agree.
and it's just easier. But if I don't have chocolate chips, like right now in my refrigerator, I have some I don't know, some chocolate sauce I made for something else, and it's pretty cold, and it's semi-hard, so I'm gonna use it up.
So when you use the chocolate bits,
Yeah.
how do they melt? Don't they get hard?
Nope. Then they get back. Yeah, but I mean, you don't want it melted. You want it a cookie, right? So it's not soft. But it's not hard. I don't know. It
And
works.
I've used the chocolate spread at the butchery before that you can buy in
How does
Israel.
that work?
It doesn't melt, but it's more like peanut butter, but a different consistency in chocolate. So
Yeah, I have that. Maybe I'll use it. And Nutella is really good in Hamentaschen.
and we have cookie butter. So we have going apricot, raspberry, poppy seed, cookie butter, Nutella, and lemon. Oh, and Naomi just added chocolate chips.
Oh, so here's a question. I have a container of lemon curd that's not open. Is that something?
You could use that. Yeah, we're using lemon pie.
Oh, I wish I thought of that. What did you say, lemon pie filling?
Lemon pie filling from a can.
I never saw it even.
You've never? It's in with where the cherry pie, apple pie fillings.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
That might be an aisle you don't go down that often.
If you use poppy seed from the can, do you add any lemon juice or anything else to it?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
I know in Sisterhood did a cookie class at Gloria's house one year. I can't remember who led it, but they had a poppy seed filling recipe from clear flour. I haven't personally made it, but if you email Terry, she can get me the email and I can get you the recipe if that's of interest.
That was Judy Taub who led it.
Yes.
I made a poppy filling this morning. It was a little work, and I actually had to start it over because my eggs curdled. So, and I have too much. So I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with the rest of it. I guess I'm going to have to make more of a Hamentaschen.
You can make cookies or a loaf. People really like that stuff. Not me, my husband.
Yeah, and right now there's so many different websites that have interesting flavors for dulce de leche, Hamentaschen. There's kid-friendly ones involving rainbow colors and unicorns colors. And there are yeasted recipes. I just don't happen to make yeasted dough recipes. Yeah. And I know and at that class that Judy taught, she did a savory filling, but I can't remember what it was. And At our house, Hamentaschen do not last.
So,
friend of mine
Terry,
made
going back,
made Hamentaschen. She has an inside that she makes with some kind of nuts and raisins, and it's a mixture that she puts together, and it's delicious. I don't have it, but you can mix. I mean, I know people, raspberry and chocolate is a favorite, you know. Hello, Naomi. Good morning.
I'm gonna try raspberry with some chocolate chips, but mine are gonna be mostly raspberry, maybe a couple with peanut butter.
Peanut butter's good, yeah.
Naomi did a raspberry lemon, I think I saw. What else do you have going? Raspberry jam and chocolate chips.
Sounds good.
Terry, you said regular chocolate bits, right?
Yep.
I'm running downstairs and getting some.
Why not? So while I have everybody online, if there's anything you'd like us to, we can keep having baking classes. I know Sisterhood has them. We could all do them together. And if there's something that people would like to, some great Jewish recipe you want to learn how to make, I'm sure we can find someone who's got the expertise, like Gloria. I know how to make gefilte fish from scratch, but that is not something you can do online.
What about
Watch you.
what about bubki? However
So
you say
from
it.
what I heard about, I mean, we could do that, but from what I heard, it's the same, you can use the same recipe you use for challah,
Mhm.
and it's all in the twisting and the shape of the mold that you put it in. So I don't think it's that different, but yeah, we could do that. A friend of mine who belongs to Temple Emmanuel made it with her grandchildren who are in Texas. So clearly you can do this online.
Well, I appreciate you letting me join. I'm in Hadassah, but
That's
I'm not
fine.
a member of Temple
Temple
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel is open to all comers.
I have family that belong there, so maybe by extension, there you go.
That's what everybody tells us.
Yeah.
My grandparents were members, and my uncle had his bar mitzvah there.
I went to one of my students, her bat mitzvah was there last year, and a couple months before the pandemic started, and she invited her teachers. So I was like, I'm going.
That's lovely. How's everybody doing? You're all very quiet.
Naomi wants me to show you that I overfilled this one, so this is going to explode.
And it
So
will taste delicious.
If you're using two cookie sheets, would you put them in one at a time?
So
Or
I
would you-
have one in the oven right now. I have quite a few cookie sheets. So I have a second one going, and I have no problem putting two in. I get a second timer and I time that one. The top rack cooks differently than the middle rack, so I just keep track of. Yeah, you put more than one in, but you have to be mindful that you have two different timers going.
Right. And you
Did
got to
you
know which timer is for which oven.
Rack, yeah.
Oh, did anyone ever do coffee?
Did you say
and
you
chocolate?
spray paint?
I spray Pam on top.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
So this is my poppy one.
Is anyone doing, I'm doing fig jam, which we did last year, and it was amazing.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that sounds good.
It is. And I did use parchment paper last year and it came out fine.
Okay.
So does it bake differently, Stephanie?
I don't think so. I don't really know. I've never done a comparison.
I'm
Wait,
using
how
fig
about-
jam too. I like fig jam too.
Yes.
Yeah, fig
How
jam
about
sounds
coffee
good.
and chocolate, does that go together?
Whatever your taste buds tell
Okay.
you.
I just use,
That if
I
you
just
smell
put the
things
raspberry
they-
together with the chocolate. I'm following Naomi's advice.
What'd you say, Julie?
I was told once that if you smell two things together and they smell good together, that's an indication they'll taste good together. I don't know if that's true, but
But you have to put your
No,
hand.
if, the big one is peanut butter and chocolate, but I'm not a peanut butter
Oh.
person. But yeah,
And they're not supposed to be.
Oh, peanut butter.
Yeah, I can tell, Annette, you like peanut butter.
I do. I just had it for breakfast on my challah.
The problem with chocolate and peanut butter is that then you don't share. You just eat them all.
It's they can't hear us.
Carrie, I
You
have
can
a-
hear us. This
I
is
have
my
a-
husband, Dimitri. He's
Hi,
cooking
Dimitri.
too.
For Passover, I have a granola recipe that also comes from the Sisterhood cookbook that's really good and easy.
Uh-huh.
Happy to do
Okay.
a class. Maddie did a class at her house a few years ago of how to make chicken soup, and it was, and matzo balls.
Uh-huh.
That one you can't really do, like, she had pre-done one pot of chicken soup, and then
Yeah.
but that changed my chicken soup life. My kid is nodding. Yes, it did change our life.
Wow.
Now, when you do the chicken soup, what I do is I line the pan with cheesecloth. And so before I put in everything, so then when it's cooking, there's like no scum.
Yep, she taught me how to get the scum off.
Yeah, a friend of mine bought me a what she calls a cooking sock, which is the same thing, but they
let's
sell
do
them
this.
like that, and you put all the onion and the this and the that in there.
Okay, I'm gonna take you to my oven so that we can see how things are going in there.
Okay.
I'd be
We have 9
interested in
seconds.
that chicken soup class.
Okay, we'll see what happens. I think they need longer than 12 minutes.
I just have to put on my timer because I put in a second tray. I heed my own advice. So this is minute 11. And I think they could use a few more minutes, so I'm gonna stick it in for 1 more minute.
Okay.
I have a question. If you're slower at filling them and stuff, should you wait to preheat your oven? Is there a length of time after which it is dangerous to leave the oven on empty?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
If you're slower at rolling and filling them, should you wait to preheat your oven? Is there a length of time after which it's dangerous to leave it on empty? I blew up a microwave once.
No, it's not like a microwave, but you do have to remember that it's on.
Yeah, no, it just, I
So
thought
I
I ran the timer and then I ran it empty for an hour and that was the end of that.
Okay, Stephanie.
I've never run it for an hour. I mean,
Well,
mine's 15, I preheat it for 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
That's why you need timers all over the place.
What do you
Stephanie,
mean you preheat it for 15 minutes?
I make sure my oven comes to temperature to 350.
Oh, okay, yeah, that probably takes a half hour.
bring it up and put this
Gloria,
on.
what did you want to say?
I had a question. We're in the Berkshires at 1,800 feet up. And so I don't know how, is that a high altitude recipe? Or do I take some, do you know? I see
I
your
have
face.
no idea, but now my Adam's sister is a chef in Denver.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm gonna have to ask her that question.
Okay,
But I
I'm gonna
don't
do
know.
it.
Yeah, I don't think 1,300 feet qualifies as a
Yeah.
high.
1,800. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Roberta's
All
shaking
right.
her head, so.
That's good. Thank you, thank you.
It's always good to
Thank
have
you,
more
Roberta.
cooks.
Okay, so this is 1 minute longer and I'm gonna take them out. I'm gonna show you how I can't keep holding it, it's hot, but. Really hard when it's on shiny paper. But so not one of them started splitting open, but the rest of them are fine. Naomi has a raspberry and lemon combination there going.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna take my cooling tray.
Ah, good idea.
What?
My fire
It's a
rack.
cooling tray. Wire rack.
So this takes it off the hot pan. You don't want the bottoms. If you just leave them to cool, the bottoms get overly heated and then it gets moist. Just not, you should take them off read the recipe. You know, every cookie recipe is different, but this recipe you want to take right off the trays and don't let them cool on the hot tray. You want to let it cool on the wire rack.
So avoid carryover cooking, or
I'm sorry?
is it so that they don't keep cooking on the tray, the carryover cooking, or?
Yes, so the bottom will get hotter and soggier and it's
Yeah.
not a good combination. And I'll leave this tray here to cool a bit and then I'll pan it over again and Naomi and I will put more Hamentaschen on there. And I also, I know my oven really well. So I'm gonna take the Hamentaschen that I put on the top rack and I'm gonna put it in the middle rack now. Meanwhile, Naomi's been making more Hamentaschen as we've been going.
So what, you move them down to the lower rack?
So I have 3 racks in my oven, so I move them from the top to the middle. I find that the middle is the best place to bake cookies.
This chocolate, that'll be good.
Terry, you taste testing?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
There's
That
a
one,
cheesecake.
that one was, came apart.
Oh, you gotta eat that one.
Right, exactly.
There's a cheesecake chocolate chip filling recipe on Tori Avi's recipe website that was really good last year.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephanie, do you have a specific oven thermometer that you recommend? Because I'm going to buy one.
Well, so right now I'm only going to stores. I only go to the grocery store. These are from Market Basket, and already 1 year later, I had to toss one. So I'm not impressed with theirs. I have 2 ovens, so I was able to figure out that one of them was busted.
All right.
So,
Bed Bath &
you know, if
Beyond
you're in
has some
Newton,
in
I would
Trump.
call China Fair. China Fair might have them.
I'm going to order one from Amazon. That's okay.
Hardware store.
So here's an interesting thing. I went to this cooking class with Susie Fishbane, who did, what's the
Oh,
name?
she's awesome. Cook Kosher by Design.
So Cook Kosher by Design, and she actually has an agreement with Amazon where she has a list of all her baking tools and ingredients and stuff. And so if you go to her website, there's a little button that says, you know, if you want to buy an oven, whatever, thermometer, okay? She has the one that she recommends. You click on it and Amazon, you instantly can buy it through Amazon. Okay, but I would trust her stuff. And you heard Stephanie say that she would trust her stuff. So I'm recommending.
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond is, if you do the pickup, they'll put it in your trunk without you going in. So if you don't want to buy from the Evil Empire, you can always find the brand on that website and get it from them without, you know, exposing yourself
Right.
to the virus.
Well, that's another thing. Some people will not buy from Amazon, but
I mean, I
my
prefer
daughter
not
says
to
it's
do
all
it.
free shipping.
Well, yeah, no, I prefer not to, but there are times when you don't have a choice. So,
Right, right.
Or is that not good?
but I know
Any
that
other questions?
Well, mine was delicious, the one I'm eating. I didn't wait for it to cool very much because, you know.
I want to give a shout. My mom, Mimi, is on the call. She's the one that had us make Hamentaschen as kids.
It's her fault.
Yeah.
Hi, Mimi.
For those looking for oven thermometers, another suggestion is sur la table.
Yes.
I've gotten
You can find one.
a poultry
So all the
thermometer.
sur la tables in New England closed, so you have to go online.
You can go online.
Native Mall is gone?
Yeah.
Yep, they closed all of their Northeast stores.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on, with stores. It's very sad.
I'm glad I used my gift cards up.
So when I worked there, I got a really nice discount. So I'm really glad I stocked up because I had no idea I was going to be trapped at home for 12 months cooking for my family that long.
So if you want to see what Stephanie makes all the time and you're friends with her on Facebook, you get to see everything she makes.
Only the good things.
Oh, okay. Well,
I get really hungry.
yeah.
In that case, that would be everything.
But there's no calories, like if you just watch what she made,
I made lemon scones for breakfast this morning.
Wow.
Is
But then
this
you make them and there are calories.
supposed to look brown, Stephanie?
I'm sorry?
Are they supposed to look brown?
They're a little brown. How would you describe this, Naomi? Tan.
Yeah.
What's in that one? Chocolate?
This
That looks like
is
chocolate.
this cookie butter? This is cookie butter.
Yeah, it looks good.
You could do Nutella with peanut butter. That would be good.
Yes.
Did you say cookie butter?
Yep, from Trader Joe's. So this is Naomi's raspberry and lemon.
Oh, Naomi.
That sounds amazing.
We're all coming over. No, I'm only kidding.
I should have saved some dough for the lemon.
Well, now you know how to make the dough, so. So I'll give you a commercial for Purim while we're doing this, because it is Hamentaschen baking. Purim starts on Thursday, February 25th. The temple is having 2 Megillah readings. One is the abbreviated family one, which is going to all be pre-recorded. The kids who are reading are taping today, and you can just zoom in and click a link and watch the whole thing. Oh, hello. Who's in your hand, Jeff?
This is Brady Michael.
Hi, Brady. Michael.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, I bet he's very excited about the Hamentaschen.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to look.
Mommy's getting her nails done. So she's
Wow, and who's Brady's big sister is?
I'm Amelia.
Amelia. Are you helping Daddy make Hamentaschen? Yeah, cool. Well, I hope you'll come to the Megillah reading, February 25th. There's also an adult one, and all the regular adults are.
I got tattoo.
I see, but I bet you Daddy kissed it, and it's going to be all better now.
Yeah, flower in my laptop. Okay.
And if you need we're giving out this year these things called Purim prep bags, which we want to make sure everybody has a grogger and a hat and a mask, not the mask, an eye mask, and a sign and all sorts of good things. It's not a mishloach manot. It does not have Hamentaschen, so those you're making now. But if you come on February 25th at 4 o'clock, between 4 and 5, I think we're giving out bags so that when the Megillah reading happens at 7:30 or so, you'll all be prepared and have all sorts of good things for your Megillah reading. So I will be there with my mask, both my masks. So stop on by.
You wear a perm mask and a regular mask, and then you can rob a bank.
Yeah, nobody will know. Well, that's the whole thing, like the masks that we're all wearing. Like if you ever saw anybody like wearing one before, it was like, okay, that's a strange being. And now we all look that way. So
I walked by my aunt 3 times before recognizing her with one of those on.
All right, so more questions for Stephanie? I just want to we are not leaving, but I just want to give a big shout out of a thank you, a Toda Rabah, to Stephanie and to Naomi for teaching us what to put inside. I do not need a lesson in how to eat them.
This is our second tray.
Very nice.
Did the other one come out? Is that it?
Yep. Oh, we're going to make Hamentaschen after we leave, but that way I can get my hands messy and not touch a key on my keyboard.
No, that one didn't look as well done as.
Nope, they're the same. Naomi,
You hold one up so we can see the bottom.
The bottom?
Yeah, so we'll know
Oh,
how
that's hot.
brown. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so nice and brown.
Golden brownish.
Brownish. Thank you.
I mean, you can't see it until like,
What is that?
this is the bottom half. That's the bottom.
Oh,
Are
it
those,
looks like a shell.
are those uncooked?
No,
Or cooked?
look.
See,
And
it
then
looked like
you
a
fill them-
shell.
Do you fill them after they're cooked?
No. This one's, here's the one
The
side.
front.
Oh, I
The
see.
back.
Okay, thank you. This
Yeah,
was
it
terrific.
looked like a shell the way you held it.
You're right. This was terrific and the questions were really helpful. And everything was really great. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Enjoy your Hamentaschen
year
and
in
happy
person,
Purim.
sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Betsy, I have a question.
Hi,
I'm
Molly.
Sarah.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Molly's daughter. We just made our first batch. I don't know if you can see this, and they're really puffy. Why are they so puffy?
Are they golden brown? I mean, they are puffy, but
Maybe you didn't roll the dough out enough. Maybe it was too thick.
Maybe the dough wasn't too
Yeah,
soft.
some of mine came out puffy. I'm gonna use a thinner circle
Naomi
next
said
time.
maybe they were like this one's a little puffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Bread?
ours they were rolled out and then the dough shrunk up. As
Right.
Mine
So
spread.
I think I'm gonna add a little bit more flour, so, because mine are a little, I'm not sure if this is the other thing, the filling that you used might have also had an impact.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna change my filling.
Uh,
'Cause
I'm sure they'll still
Like
taste
Naomi did a chocolate chip peanut butter one. I can't hold up because it just came out of the oven. And she also did a raspberry chocolate chip one.
The brand of your flour does make a difference a little bit too, because some of them have more or less protein.
that looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
so
one
that
opened
one's
up.
kind of puffy.
That one's kind of puffy, but my kids don't care. They'll eat it.
Well, I was gonna say it'll still taste good.
Can
Our
we,
chief Hamentaschen consumer is not here, so we have to send him his Hamentaschen
Yeah.
this year.
Well, that'll be a nice package.
did the fruit ones come out puffy?
Yeah, my fruit ones came out puffy.
No, so the so
That looks
that's
good.
an
Yours?
apricot one.
Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
right. So in case any of you need, my daughter is a celiac and she makes Hamentaschen every year with gluten-free flour. It's the same recipe, same measurements, and she's had this Hamentaschen baking party over the years, and her friends, and then they did a taste off, and her friends actually liked the gluten-free ones better. So all I can say is they come out really good. So if you need for somebody, just know you can still do that. Nobody has to not have Hamentaschen.
And when my kids were younger, we didn't always do peanut butter because we had friends who had allergies. So we're very cognizant of not mixing peanut butter when the kids were younger.
Aren't allergies wonderful?
Have you ever used whole wheat flour?
I use it in challah, but I don't use it in baking. I want to go, well, if I want to be bad, I want to be bad all the way.
On Tori Avi's website, somebody in the comments mentioned having using whole wheat, but I can't remember what they said.
Oh,
What a waste. Chocolate and whole wheat.
I mean, I think
Bethany,
the
what
flour
did-
you have.
Although I will say we've been putting interesting things into our challah, including chocolate.
So if there's Mandylicious that's
Yes, my daughter follows her.
yeah, there's a lot. So I started following a whole bunch of different challah makers on Instagram, and I've learned a lot. So I think for Hamentaschen for Purim, I might do marzipan or almond paste in my challah for Purim.
Wow. Yesterday, on Thursday or Friday, somebody, I think it was Mandylicious, put out a challah that was braided in the shape of a heart.
Yes.
That sounds like
I did not do that.
Or putting red food coloring in, or
that no.
I
She
haven't
did
done.
one for Tu B'Shvat in the shape with a tree. Her challahs are like nothing I could ever imagine.
So there's a rabbi in Burlington, Susan Abramson, that is a challah expert, and she actually, the synagogue Temple Emanuel Library has her book. She wrote a book or put together a book about challah for different, different celebrations, different Torah portions, you name it, and how you braid it and twist it. The recipe, you use your recipe, but so I was thinking at some point, since Burlington, Massachusetts is so far away from Newton, if we ever get back together again, maybe we'll have her come visit, because that would be fun.
Yeah, when we did the challah bake, was that?
That was with
that-
yeah, that was just
That was
regular.
That was
Right.
a lot of fun, but you had toppings.
Right. People want to do it again. Yeah. So what so I just made a challah. I make challah, and I also make challah rolls. So the rolls is where I'm creative. So the roll I had this morning for breakfast had za'atar in it and onion, I think it was. It was delicious.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. But we've put in, all kinds of stuff.
You have to
What
just
kind, what kind of
though?
flour?
What?
What kind of flour do you use for challah?
So the recipe that I did not make challah before COVID-19, but we started out and we've been playing around with it, and ours is about half and half, or 2/3 regular flour and 1/3 bread flour.
Oh, okay.
Different recipes will call for different ones. I would go with what the recipe says generally.
Yeah.
Dima's and my first ones are out.
Wow, those look good. Hold them up again.
Ooh.
Very nice. What did you put inside?
These have apricot and mango and chocolate and raspberry.
Mango,
And, yeah, but the one I just put in the oven is really cool. We've never had this before. It's a sour cherry jam.
Yeah.
And it's
that sounds
pieces
good.
of cherry in it.
That sounds delicious.
It's really good. Anyway, we're working together on this, and can't wait. All right.
Joy, happy Purim.
The raspberry and chocolate sounds very Valentine's Day too.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna drop off. Thanks for.
Hey, thanks for coming.
instruction. Bye.
Anybody else want to share their Hamentaschen? We'd love. Oh, Roberta's showing us hers.
Ooh.
Wow, those are great.
Puffed up huge.
I think I have an oven that isn't actually the temperature it says it is, because mine are just not cooking.
I'll then leave it in longer.
I
Yeah,
turned
Roberta,
it up and them leaving it in longer, Stacy.
what did you put in yours, Roberta?
I originally, I made a poppy seed filling,
Right,
which
right.
was super crunchy. So that was something I made today.
You made your poppy seed filling? That's impressive.
Yeah.
I got mine from a can.
No, I don't do it in a can. I'm a scratch maker. So if I'm going to make anything, I'm going to make it from scratch. The only thing I will use from a can will be pumpkin filling, but even that, the pumpkin filling, and I make all the stuff with it. I don't buy a pumpkin and make the pumpkin, but everything else
Cool.
scratch.
Well, they look delicious. Enjoy them.
Thank you. Well, they're going to end up with my husband and my father-in-law because I like chocolate things. This is fun today. All right.
Okay, well, the next batch, chocolate. All right, bye-bye. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. This was really awesome.
Yeah, it's lots of fun.
I stopped making Hamentaschen. I used to make a package and I sent out maybe 15 or more to my family outside of the driving territory, like California and wherever else.
Oh, that's
And
a
I
good
don't think
package.
too many people enjoy them. So I stopped making Hamentaschen.
Well, I think everybody enjoys them.
So I will just have
especially
this-
now. I think anybody who gets a package of Hamentaschen or a Mishloach Manot is going to be very excited.
Exactly.
I want to thank everybody.
Thank you. Enjoy the Berkshires.
We've been here since July. We're hiding from COVID, so
Okay, that works.
there's zero COVID in our town.
Wow.
Have you not come back at all?
We haven't, to go to a doctor, but other than that, we don't come back. We stay up here.
Wow.
We're trying to be safe and healthy. I want to thank you, Stephanie, and you also, Terry, for making this
Sure.
happen. And
Yes.
wishing everybody a happy Purim. And we wish you well. We're gonna leave
Oh, wait,
now.
before you leave.
We're busy
I just don't-
eating ours now.
I don't want you to feel pressured at all, but Dan is talking about selling chametz. And when I was in the supermarket, they have all the Pesach stuff out already.
Oh, yeah, it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
The nerve of you to mention that.
Anyway, bye-bye, everybody. And Annette, I missed your sign, your butcher sign. Is that from your dad?
Yes.
That is
That's
so cool.
amazing.
What was the name of the store?
Raverby, that was my maiden name.
Uh-huh. I was not a Dorchester person. My family comes from Chelsea, and my cousin had a kosher butcher in Chelsea. Was a kosher
Oh,
butcher. in
there. Oh, what
Chelsea.
was that one?
There were two, and I can't remember the name of it because I was like 5 years old. So.
Oh, because there was one of my friends, I'm trying to
Yeah,
think if it
began
was
with
her
a-
family, was Rubinoff.
Yeah, that wasn't it. But I'll have to ask his children because.
But the best thing that happened is at the end of one of our, I believe it was a Hadassah meeting, it might have been a sisterhood. I was getting ready to leave and I just happened to say, we were talking about sisters and whatever. And so I happened to say, my father only wanted to say, be Raverby and son. He had 5 daughters.
Wow.
when
Well,
I
it could say be Raverby and daughters.
Well, actually, we did work there a little bit, but
Yeah.
anyway, so the person I was telling started to scream because her mother bought meat from my father.
That's
And
very
she
cool.
said she hasn't had a steak as good as when she had it from my father. So, but that was really funny that.
That's good memories. Very
Yeah.
cool.
It's a nice story.
So Sarah, I saw you eating yours, Sarah Evans. Were they any good?
I mean, it's a cookie with Nutella. What's not good?
I just had to ask, you know.
It's definitely, it's a little puffy. I think we made the
Yep.
dough about half an hour before and it was sitting out. So maybe it expanded or maybe it changed. Maybe we should have had it in the fridge.
Oh, I put it in the fridge because I thought that's what it said.
Yeah.
So I made it before and put it in the fridge.
Yeah,
but I kept-
mine's puffy. I'm going to play around with it. I didn't make all of them. So
I had
like
one that came
puffy.
out really nice.
I
Yes.
like puffy.
here's
but
my
all the
expert
others,
one. This is the one that came out good.
Sort of flattened and they
This is the one
spread.
that came out mushy, spread out.
That's
I'm-
right.
I'm a little puffy. What's the matter with Puffy?
I have nothing wrong with puffy. Nothing wrong.
Annette, I have a question for Annette. Did your father ever have a store at Coolidge Corner?
No,
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 okay.
he was just on Morton Street from the time he was 18.
Coolidge Corner was Shaffron's.
Right.
Right.
And there was another
And-
one too.
Yeah, my girlfriend's father was Shaffron.
Shaffron. My mother always shopped in Shaffron's, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Parents
Good
from
night.
Milton.
Thank
they
you.
brought
Have a good
stuff
day.
in.
Enjoy the rest of Valentine's Day.
This
and,
was-
Yeah, I have,
Terry,
Thank
do you
you
want to
very,
take a
very
picture?
much.
Terry, do you want to take a picture of people holding up their,
I have no idea
Oh.
how to do that.
okay. I will get my phone and I will take, if everyone holds up
If
their
it's
home
just with my phone, I can do that.
You can do a screenshot off your computer.
That's what I mean. I don't have no idea how to do that.
Then do you have a Mac? I can tell you on a Mac.
No, but I'll go get my phone.
See, it's, you hold down, control, or rather the Windows key and the print screen button.
Windows and what?
wait,
The print
where's
screen
Molly?
button. It says
Mine's
print
still in
screen.
the oven.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
didn't
right.
do
I'll
mine
just-
yet, so I'm gonna say goodbye and thank you so much.
Okay,
for a
thank
minute.
you.
Thank you for doing
Oh,
this. Happy
Jeff,
Purim,
look at
everyone.
Jeff's.
Wow.
Those are
Yeah,
fantastic.
wow.
Wait a minute.
Molly, move the camera up. so we can see
Mine
you.
just,
There you
my
go.
bottom just fell out.
Mine haven't
Hey,
been
it worked.
pulled
Thank
yet.
you for the windows and the print screen. Then
Yeah,
what do
look
I do? Then
awesome.
what do I do with it?
It'll be in your print screen folder in your pictures and you can do whatever you want.
Cool. Somebody always knows more than me, you know?
Well, I had to look it up the other day, so.
That's
Okay,
very
bye,
cool.
everybody. Have a happy Purim.
Have a
Happy
happy
Purim.
Oh, thank you. You too. Now I have to give these out.
Bye-bye.
to
Amelia.
people.
Bye,
Goodbye.
Amelia.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Enjoy
everyone.
your cookies.
Thank
Mine
you.
is still in the oven.
Okay,
So,
well, they'll be delicious.
Yep, I'm sure.
Thanks,
Take care.
Stephanie.
Thank you,
This is
thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
We didn't finish
We're still making them.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of them to make, so get back to the work.
Say thank
Then you
you.
can have a cookie party. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.